shippers often complain about the cost of drayage rates when they receive additional invoices including chassis charge, pre-pull, and yard storage, even when their shipment is completed. It may only take 1 to 2 hours to deliver goods from the terminal to your warehouse, but it can cost you thousands of dollars. Hello? We are Avail Logistics, an international freight forwarder located in Southern California, USA. Think of Avail as another word for help. In today's topic, we would like to explain why domestic trucking in the US is so expensive and how to save some money on drayage costs. The main method that carries the vast majority of the world's freight is trucks, international and locally. The freight business is 12% of the global economy. 40% of the global economy is dependent in some way on freight and logistics, and more than 70% of the goods in the United States are moved by trucks. Let's see what drayage is, how to calculate it, and finally how to reduce the drayage cost. How are drayage rates calculated? There are a number of factors can be considered when determining drayage charge. The most common factors include total gross weight, distance from pickup address to destination, type of container, unload method, and any special request by the shipper. Drayage rate can be divided into two parts: base fee and accessorial fees. Most truckers will outline their base rate and accessorial fees like waiting time, yard storage, toll charge when quoting you. Base fee is the fee to move goods from point to point. It could be to move goods between ports, terminals, warehouses, and retailers. Due to fuel surcharge, this fee is subject to change without notice. Fuel surcharge will change weekly and the number varies from company to company. Along with base fee, trucking will also point out accessorial fees, which can be applied for your shipment. Below is general accessorial fees. Chassis fees. When containers need to be picked up from the terminal or the port, truckers need special equipment trailer called chassis, which allows ocean containers to be transported via truck. Chassis fee is charged per day per chassis. Normally you will need to pay 2 to 5 days per container, from the day the container is picked from the terminal, delivered to your warehouse, and finally return the empty container to the terminal. In worst cases, your total chassis use stay could be 10 days, which can cost you around $550 to $650. It may be because your trucker cannot make a sooner appointment with the terminal in their busiest time, or your warehouse does not have available space to unload the containers. Pre-pull fee. When will this fee apply? Pre-pull fees are incurred when a container has been picked up from a port or ramp, but isn't loaded or delivered on the same day. The trucker will store your container at their yard. It will help customers to avoid demurrage fees, which can be $100 to $200 per day. This fee will also be applied when truckers have to pick up the container at night, when the final warehouse cannot unload them on the same day due to their working hours, normally from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. Yard storage. As mentioned above, yard storage will be incurred when the driver cannot deliver the container on the same day after they pick up the container. Storage charge can be $40 to $60 per day for each container. Sometimes, customers may need to store their container for a few days until their warehouse is able to unload the container, due to lack of space or human power. Driver waiting or detention charge. Detention is charged when a truck driver arrives at a location and ends up waiting to be loaded at the terminal or unloaded at the warehouse. In most cases, truckers allow for some free hours, but they will charge you an hourly rate after that time allotment is up, usually $80 to $95 per hour. For average, most 3PL warehouses in the US need 2 to 4 hours to unload one 40 high cube container, when some ineffective warehouse need 5 to 10 hours. Detention exists to help compensate them for lost time and, therefore, money, because drivers are only allowed to drive a certain number of hours at a time. In the US it's 11 hours. Chassis split fees. A chassis split fee is charged when a chassis is not already available at the container site. In that case, a carrier will have to spend additional time and mileage traveling to pick up a chassis for transport, which will then be passed along to you in the form of an extra fee. Carriers don't need to own chassis in order to provide transportation service. There are some carriers that provide their own chassis, but that is not the norm. To avoid chassis split fee, you should only choose trucking companies that own private chassis. Demurrage fees and detention fees. Demurrage Demurrage is a charge applied to containers that are left at the port or rail yard longer than their allotted free time, or past the last free day. Detention or per diem charges. These charges are assessed to the cargo owner when the empty container is not returned within a set number of days, as free days. Drop fees. Shippers are usually confused about this fee and why it's applied. There are two delivery methods in US: live unloading and drop and pick. For live unloading, the driver will deliver the container to your warehouse. Wait a couple hours until all cargo is unloaded. After that, they will return the empty container to the terminal. With drop and pick, the driver will drop off containers at your warehouse or distribution center and return later to pick up the empty container. Some warehouses prefer the drop and pick method because they don't have enough employees to unload containers within 2 to 3 hours. Dry run fee. One of the most common reasons for dry run fees is that a trucker will go to pick up cargo, but it will either not yet be released or ready for pickup. This fee rarely occurs because truckers have to make an appointment before coming and pick up the container, and they only allow it when the container is fully released. Overweight fee. Truckers will charge an overweight fee if the container exceeds a certain weight limit. Weight restrictions vary by state, but generally a TEU 20-foot container above 36,000 pounds and a FEU 40 container above 44,000 pounds requires a triaxle chassis for cargo weight only. Most truckers in the US do not accept overweight containers. Above our accessorial fees can be applied for your shipment. In some cases, several charges can be included in your drayage invoice. Let's check example below to see how your drayage be calculated. You import one 40-feet container from China to Los Angeles, California port. Container is available for pickup from Tropac Terminal on June 13th. Last free day to pick up is June 16th, for free days. Trucker make pickup appointment through Tropac website and the soonest appointment is June 15th at 6 p.m. To avoid the demurrage charge, which can be $100 to $200 per day, the trucker picks up the container as appointment time, stores it at their warehouse, then delivers it to your warehouse the next day, June 16th. The driver cannot deliver the container to the warehouse directly from the terminal because it already passes warehouse working hours, which normally from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. When the container arrives at your warehouse, the warehouse team needs 4 hours to unload the container. After that, the driver will return the empty container to the terminal if they can make a return empty appointment on the same day. In case they cannot make an empty appointment on the same day, they will store it at their warehouse. Your drayage invoice will be total amount $1,520. In this case, you can save $150 for pre-pull fee, yard storage $90 and $340 for driver waiting if you use all-in logistics service from your freight forwarding company, which include warehouse storage service, trucking and international freight. Plus, they should own a 3PL warehouse and trucking company. What do you think about our topic today? Did you enjoy it? Please follow our Facebook page where we provide daily updates about global shipping and logistics to help you save time and money. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to this video if you want us to create more content like this. Also comment below if you have any questions. Avail Logistics, think of Avail as another word for help.